So the hearts, are we ready, Quentin? Forgive me. I'm just launching right in. Take two. We're good now. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
I love that song Whisper found me. When I listened to it again this morning, hearing it play in the room, it even made me a little emotional. Because when I really, really, really get away out of my head and think about this journey that we have on this planet, I do get emotional. And I do start just feeling probably so deeply that I'm almost left speechless. Almost. Whisper, whisper, whisper in my ear. Tell me words I thought I'd never hear. Show me, show me, show me what you see. Illuminate what's right in front of me. There's so much more to what we see. Sometimes I'm scared to take it in. Is that you right in front of me? Are you the stranger or the friend? Whisper, whisper, whisper in my ear. Tell me words I thought I'd never hear. Show me, show me, show me what you see. Illuminate what's right in front of me. What you whisper in my ear, let it find room in my heart. It's interesting that we're talking about the heart as we're discussing wisdom. You would think we'd talk about the heart when we discussed love a couple of weeks ago. But the heart does have an intelligence, as the video expressed to us. And it's that intelligence that comes from within us. The heart, the gut, that part within us that guides us all the time, that inner GPS that is the wisdom that we seek and the wisdom that we are. So yes, there is something whispering in our ears all the time. Whispering in this heart of ours. And I love that the lyrics said, let me find room in my heart for what I hear. I talk about this often. There's so many times we hear and do not heed. It's so important, so vital for our best lives ever. To get beyond the hearing to the heeding. To pay attention to these hearts of yours that are directing, that are calling, that are guiding. And just like the video said, your brain is always trying to protect you. Always. That's its job. And as you're moving through life, it's calculating, it's listening, it's looking, it's feeling, it's sending signals all over your body. And all it wants to do is keep you safe. Your heart, however, always gives you, like the video said, what you need in that moment. And that is the supreme wisdom. So we may feel unprotected sometimes when the heart of us, the wisdom of us is guiding us and we're letting go and trying to heed it. It may feel scary. But that, I think, is the perfect time to step forward and say yes. Yes. Yes, absolutely. And to admit, I don't know what this is. I don't know why you're taking me here. This doesn't feel good. Or this hurts. And yet, it is the very thing our best life requires. The very thing our best life requires. Because it is Spirit that calls us to our highest and best. That always wants you in the best possible place and experience. Always. Always. It's always a calling to your heart. Whisper, whisper, whisper in my ear. And we don't really have to ask because the whisper is always there. If we're tuned in. If we're tuned in. If we allow ourselves to get quiet. So that we can start evaluating what the brain is giving us and what the heart is weighing in on. Remember, love and wisdom together. Wisdom tempering love. Wisdom always tempering love. So we're reading Divine Audacity. And Linda Martella Whitsett, in the chapter about wisdom, talks about three facets of it. Judgment, discernment, and intuition. She says wisdom is applied knowledge, our decision-making capacity through mental evaluation, spiritual discernment, and moment-by-moment intuition. Our wisdom ability is applicable in body, mind, and spirit in every dimension of being. In the body, conclusions are reached through experience. In intellect, reason is the assumed arbiter of every question. In spirit, intuition and inspiration bring the quick and sure answer to all the problems of life. The power of wisdom and all our spiritual abilities, expressed physically and mentally, builds our capacity. And as we practice expressing wisdom in these areas of life, we discover that intuition, our finest spiritual expression of wisdom, is involved in every decision we make. Every decision. Nothing's exempt. And we only have to bring our awareness to it. To realize that at each step you are guided. Think about that. That's part of the realization that brings me to my knees, that brings tears to my eyes. In every moment, I am guided. Held in this web of life that just wants me to thrive. Not survive. Remember, we let go of the crumbs. We let go of that. And it's thriving that Spirit calls you to. And so when the brain gets activated, it's the heart and the spirit of intuition that can fold in with it, and all three of those together guide us to our highest and best. If we let it happen. Because sometimes we shut down the heart, or we hear the intuition and we ignore it. We ignore it. I think when I learned to stop running from pain, that my spiritual ability for intuition was enhanced. I think our first thought is that when there's something painful, to run away from it. Escape. Pain, even in the body, is a signal that we need to pay attention to, and often we ignore that. We take aspirin, ibuprofen, make it go away so we don't feel the pain. Something hurts our hearts, and we try to dull the pain in some kind of way. When our heart is trying to tell us something in that moment. When our intuition is screaming out about something. And we hear it. And we keep going towards something else. It takes practice. It takes practice. And when we practice in those everyday moments that seem so mundane, that seem like they don't matter, that's where we get to exercise that muscle, that wisdom muscle. It seems like they don't matter, but the tiny little things that we're called to do, the mundane things, are really practice for the big time. When life really hits us in the gut, pulls the rug out from underneath us, and we have to make a decision in the moment when everything is crashing down around us and is loud. And if we practice daily, what does wisdom look like, feel like, sound like? Then when the things of life are crushing us, we can still hear, we can still feel, we can still discern. Because you practiced and you know. You know what it feels like when wisdom's giving you direction. But there's advice and noise from everywhere else, all around you. From people, from places, from the news, from whatever. Things you read. Information crushing us all the time. And I hear people say all the time, what do I do? How do I know what to do? How do I know what voice to trust? I only know what the still small voice sounds like and feels like for me. But I learned that because I practiced. And now I know in an instant what's right. So more often than not, I can make a decision like that. In fact, it's already there. Because I know what it feels like here. I have a knowingness about what the right answer feels like. And I can ignore what the brain is doing and move forward. A lot of the times my brain has told me something different than what Spirit did. Probably most of the time. Especially in the last 5, 6, 7 years of my life. I've said this before. A lot of things look good on paper. A lot of things sound good. A lot of things are logical, rational, just like the video said. Doesn't mean it's right. So as you're judging and evaluating, using the brain, and the brain is thinking about 1,000 different things at once, allow your heart to discern. Think of how you feel in the moment. Are you peaceful? Do you feel joy? Do you feel relieved? Do you feel released? And then go to your intuition. What's that nagging thing that you keep hearing, that the still small voice is saying to you? The messages that keep coming, the billboards, the songs, the friends, acquaintances that keep saying the same thing and wonder where it's coming from. All giving you the same answer, but you keep saying, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Just like the song said, it's right in front of me. Illuminate what's right in front of me. I believe it's always illuminated. The light is always there. It's always shining within us, shining around us. But we don't see. Let me find room in my heart. Perhaps that's the supreme prayer. Let me find room in my heart. For whatever the question is, let me find room in my heart here. Here. Certainly the daily word, forgiveness, that Jan read about. We need to find room in our hearts for forgiveness. Whether we're forgiving ourselves or someone else. Because the thought's always there, the admonition to forgive. But can we find room in our hearts for that? Wisdom, multifaceted, but it makes life so much easier. I think that's when we're in the flow. Life is just like this. In the flow. And you just kind of roll with it, whatever it is. Down in the valleys, up on the hills, up in the mountains, of things we have to take care of. In the flow. And you just go with it. And you know it's okay. You know it's more than okay. You know it's good and true and right. Know it deep down such that you have no doubt. No doubt. And you can walk forward with your decision even if you're walking it alone. Even if everybody else has decided to do something different. So let's find room in our hearts for the answers, for the willingness to heed all of the wisdom that's flooded into our lives every moment of every day. Let's take this in a meditation. So breathe deeply. Breathe deeply. Sinking back into that heart space where all the answers lie. All the answers to every single question. You are a part of and enfolded in an energy, a light that's feeding you, guiding you, loving you. All the time. No matter what. Just breathe. And if there's a question, something looming, some conflict, some problem or issue, some question that's central for you these days, bring it to that heart space. Find room for it in your heart, right here, right now. And breathe into it. Breathe into it. Just relax with it. Letting any emotion, any anxiety, any tension around it, just let it subside. Just let it go. Let yourself feel it. Let it flow. Knowing that the answer is illuminated right here, right now. And you are making space for that answer. Just make space. Make room for the answer to enter, to be made known. Just breathe and be, knowing that you are wisdom. You are the principle of wisdom. The loving, guiding energy that only wants your highest and best in this situation that you're holding in your heart right now. And you have everything within you to face it bravely, fully. You have everything within you to do what's called to be done. Just take a breath in together. Breathe in and exhale. Breathe in again. Breathing in wisdom, strength, love, power, and exhale. knowing and affirming that the answer you seek is now seeking you. Continue to breathe and relax. And now within your heart, express gratitude for that answer. Claiming resolution to whatever it is, whatever the question is. And so it is. When you're ready, return to the room.